People don't like me making videos. I get that. People keep telling me to go to the cops. I've gone to the cops repeatedly. People say they don't want their business out there. Well, neither did I. At least I was honest about their business. I was honest about the reasons that they couldn't help. When they don't keep their word, they tell me I brought it on myself. I didn't. I didn't ask for people with families to treat me like shit, like I wasn't making an effort. I didn't ask for crippling panic attacks. I didn't ask to be assaulted or treated like shit. Rihanna's husband treated me completely like shit. And that's the thing, I can't handle that. People keep telling me to go to the cops. They use the term mentally ill as an excuse to do everything but their job. If their job is to abuse mentally disabled people and physically disabled people, well, that's not their job. It shouldn't be. I didn't ask to be homeless. I didn't ask for Ken and Leah to steal my shit. I started making videos because I couldn't get help. I kept getting blown off by everyone. I needed help to stop the abuse. People don't want me to speak. They don't want me to tell the world about their problems. I get that. These people want to tell me that I just need to get over it, and then they get pissed off when they go through a tiny bit of what I've gone through. They're pissed off because I spoke out. Nobody's arresting them. Nobody's assaulting them. Nobody's taking their money away. Nobody's making them go to court date to court date to court date. Nobody's threatening to kill them. Meanwhile, they don't practice what they preach. They didn't lose anything over me speaking out. But they're hateful and angry at me for speaking out. But I'm not allowed to be. They're allowed to go to the cops. They got people in their corners. They can. Because they don't want their business out there. Well, at least it's their business. And they say, it's got nothing to do with me. Well, then you shouldn't have offered. See, that's the thing, is that the way Ray Ray's husband acts gives me panic attacks. Ray Ray getting mad at me for making videos. I understand why. I've been through this shit for 2 goddamn years. 2 goddamn years of abuse for slander. At least she's not being abused for the things that I said. See, that's the thing. I needed help getting someone to go in with me. Somebody on my side to make the police take a report. Meanwhile, I don't have the time with all this running around to get a lawyer. I tried while homeless, while being victimized for being a homeless, while being treated like shit for being a homeless, like I had chosen it. I didn't choose for it. I didn't choose for people to rip me off. See, the laws are supposed to protect people from me from victimization like that. But then again, if nobody cares to go in with you, then it's just your word against theirs. And the cops only look at one side. The cops didn't care about any of the threats against me. $10,000 people commenting on, well, actually there's only 2.3 thousand comments, but some of them have a little comments below them with even more comments. A bunch of people that didn't know Natalie commenting on there, getting involved, putting their nose where it doesn't belong. When people didn't keep their word for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. It matters that you didn't keep your word. These people are gonna call the cops for me speaking out. Okay, then do so. At least the cops will listen to someone. And I'll be the one abused. All of this evidence that I collected, it'll get taken away again. I'll be given a public pretender who won't do their job. They'll pretend to for a little bit to get what they want. See, jails, they would have been fine because it was a steady place. I'm not constantly moving. But I didn't have access to the evidence. I couldn't get a police officer to do their job in there. I got police reports that were written by other inmates about the harassment by the police and them laughing at me and making fun of me. I needed their help, and that's how they helped me. These people want to tell me how to think and feel about things that they're not going through. Lana and Amanda, they didn't lose their place over the things that I said. Neither did Shannon. I don't want to speak out in public. I want the cops to take my report and to take me seriously instead of assuming that I'm wrong, assuming that I'm schizophrenic and abusing the fuck out of me for it. They don't want your business out there. See, that's the thing that Rayanne is pissed off about right now. She says talk about my business and not hers. Well, that's the issue there. Is that her not keeping her word is my business. Lana and Amanda not keeping their word is my business. Rayanne is not a bad person. She's just pissed off. She didn't want her business out there. Meanwhile, the reason that it is my business is because she didn't keep her word. And she has valid reasons for not keeping her word. She doesn't want her husband to be unhappy. I needed help, and I asked for help. I asked for the help that I needed. She offered the help that I needed. So did Shannon. Shannon's a good person too, by the way, and you notice she got pissed off as well. That's the thing, is that there's supposed to be professionals who deal with this stuff, and those professionals didn't. They didn't. So I had to rely on my friends who were in pretty fucked up situations themselves. The actual predators always get away. And the good guys, they always take the blame. I used to keep my mouth shut and just take it. After Virginia, I couldn't do that anymore. I'd been through enough of it. I went to help Jamie. It's completely the opposite direction. You should look it up on a map. See how much driving that I did on that trip. I was overwhelmed. I didn't have enough money to take care of myself. The people who knew the truth wouldn't come forward about it. My hopes and dreams, you know. Lana and Amanda, they have a safe place. That's their place. They're not trying to get unhomeless with one paycheck of $705 a month. They're not having 600 and something of that spent on going from one court date to another because they were assaulted by the police. They're not being forcibly injected with mind-altering drugs and then that's the thing about family. I don't have one. My dad didn't try to understand. See, these people are all mad at me. And I understand why they're mad. Meanwhile, they don't understand why I'm mad. It's because they couldn't keep their word, and I needed that help. I expended my resources for the help that I needed. And people couldn't because of addictions, because of their own family issues, because of poverty, because of homelessness. They get angry at me for speaking out about it. People don't want me to speak Natalie's name. They want me to keep her name out of my mouth, but they couldn't keep my name out of theirs. I just wanted the abuse to stop. I wanted an honest day in court. I wanted Natalie to admit that I didn't molest her and I didn't rape her. I wanted Alicia to admit that it was her idea for me to stay behind the Cricket store because she wanted me to be closer to her. I wanted Natalie to admit that she invited me to Virginia. I wanted Maddie to admit that she had planned the trip with me. I got screenshots of all this stuff. I got screenshots of my conversations between me and Rihanna, me and her husband. It all shows that my stories are true. I tell true stories. The people who told me that I just need to get over it call me an angry little elf and things like that. That's the thing, is that if I'm really this terrible person, then kill me. Stop abusing me, please. I'm frustrated because you couldn't keep your word. I expended resources because I needed to believe that you would. I knew how all these people were going to react. I feared it for good reason. But them not keeping their word forced me so that I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't do anything but speak out. Getting violent isn't going to fix it. A lot of people got violent with me. I was hurt physically, I was hurt mentally, I was hurt financially. People who said that they would help me I can't say none of them did. The ones that were supposed to didn't. Jeff Ritter, he didn't keep his word. All of these people could have told the truth about me, but they didn't. Some of them did at first, but they did it on Facebook. They didn't do it to the police. They didn't do it in the courts. Brandon was going to show up in court, but he couldn't. Selena Maestas was going to show up in court, but she couldn't. David Orth was going to show up in court, but he couldn't. I mean, this is a complete and total mindfuck. I was a good man until I wasn't allowed to be. It's alright for people to assault me because I don't have a safe place. That's what the castle was about. A safe place. I didn't even want to live in a castle. I wanted to live in a hobbit hole outside and be the janitor. I just wanted to see my loved ones. I don't get to see any of my loved ones, and these people all have loved ones they get to see every day to help them have stability. When I'm depressed, people call the cops on me. They don't want me there especially at businesses, because it brings other people down. So I have to hide it. I have to play chameleon. I have to pretend like I'm happy. None of these people bothered to pay any attention to what was going on. They all have things going on in their own lives, their own struggles. These people are all important to me, but I'm all alone. I don't have money. I don't have anything going for me. And with sensory overload, people keep having me go. They want me to go to the Camilla shelter or the homeless shelter. Or, you know, the situation is different now. I couldn't go to the Boulder shelter. That would have resulted in some pretty messed up shit after Natalie disappeared. I didn't stay there anyway. I stayed the Boulder shelter a grand total of maybe 2 nights in 10 years. I used to walk people to the warming centers, and I'd go in and I'd sign my name and then I'd leave. I'd say ask Whitehorse about that, but you know, he's got 100 people a night he's got to deal with coming in and signing their name. He probably wouldn't remember too many details. There's so much, and I can remember it all. I just need to be able to sit down in a quiet environment where I don't have to be worried about having to leave in a couple hours and having to pack up my stuff, a place where I don't have to worry about my stuff getting stolen when I get overwhelmed and have to step away for a minute. I understand these people didn't want their business out there. But at least it's their business. The reasons that Rihanna couldn't keep her word. I needed the cops to help me. All of these people's opinions matter and mine don't, but none of them, not even one, bothered to stop, take a look at everything that was going on. With Shannon, I couldn't get her to look at it. She said that she would. She said that if I was in California, she'd help with that. When I got to California, I couldn't even get her to listen. Every time that it was time to do something, it became her talking and venting time. So I don't get to talk or vent. I tried. Out of the whole time I was there, there was one night where she did help me by taking some screenshots. I took a lot more. But it's not a matter of who did more. It's a matter of trying not to be shut down with people screaming. I live in a world full of alcoholics and meth heads. I don't drink and I don't do meth. I tried meth. I didn't like it. Why would I do something I don't like? Rihanna, she wanted to help, but she couldn't. She offered me a place to stay, and when I got here, she couldn't. She offered to let me use her mailbox, but she gets in trouble for being my friend, so I can't go over there, so I can't use her mailbox. That's what I needed from my dad, is this mailbox. I needed him to pretend I was a human being and listen to me, instead of scream at me for 45 minutes until I scream back, and then get angry at me because I shook the whole house with my screaming. It's okay for him, it's not okay for me. I wouldn't have to speak out about the things that happen and the roadblocks that I've encountered if I wasn't encountering those roadblocks. Ravi doesn't want her personal business out there. Meanwhile, I speak about it because it's the reasons that she couldn't keep her word. The reason that I have anxiety about going to see her. The reason that I can't go see her. She gets in trouble for it. I want my life to end. I'm not a bad person for that. It would have been nice to know that Shannon was an alcoholic before I went there. That would have explained a lot. It would have been nice if Dan Favorite had told me that Layla is not who she said she was. It would have been nice if I could go to the cops without being blown off. See, before Natalie died, the cops didn't abuse me. They just ignored me. Rihanna didn't do anything wrong. And the way she's reacting to me speaking out, it's the way I expected her to. I was thinking to myself earlier today, Amanda's probably gonna call up Ray Ray and try to pull some fucked up shit. She did. Amanda didn't do it to try to protect Ray Ray. She did it to be vindictive. But at the same time, I was aware it was coming. See, that's the thing. They didn't want me to speak out either. The difference is that at no point in time, in the entirety of the time that I've known Ray Ray, has she ever been abusive. Not towards me, not towards anyone in front of me. She couldn't help me because her husband. That's not my choice. Miss Peaches, she told me that her and Raja were thinking about renting me their room, their spare bedroom. She let me know that right after I lit that fire at Ken and Leah's and threatened the president because I didn't have that. That hurt me so badly. If she could have told me that 24 hours earlier, it would have made all the difference.